I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Jane Douglas, any corrections to the minutes? Any additions or corrections to the minutes? No? Hearing none, they'll be accepted as presented.
Using your teacher skills today?
Pardon?
Using your teacher skills, saying the name of the person?
Oh. Open forum. At this time, we would like to give district residents an opportunity to ask any questions about this agenda or about operations within the school district. Personnel matters will not be addressed in public session. Comments may be recorded and responded to by the Board of Education or the Superintendent of Schools within 24 to 48 hours. We ask that you introduce yourself to the board and that you keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Maureen.
Maureen Chalish, 120 Larchmont Drive. Apropos of the first order of business, approval of minutes. On December 11th, when I was in attendance at the meeting, the following minutes that were accepted by the board were incorrect about my comments that evening at the meeting, where I referenced an article in the New York Times about Trumansburg schools and the progress they were making. The minutes read that I referenced a New York Times article about the Trumansburg Hamilton Square project, which I did not mention. My name has been used in that in other manners, and I've been getting phone calls about what was I doing at the school and promoting or questioning about the Hamilton Square project.
Oh dear.
I let it stay there on purpose because it was important for me for people to understand and see that you can't always believe the written word or depend upon second-hand information. And it's not anything, a reprimand, but the minutes would have been read by all board members and reviewed and approved. And you all read this, but you all know I did not say that. So I wanted to come publicly to say it so I can again point to the audio when people ask me what I had to say about it here. So that I would ask that those minutes now get corrected to say what actually was at 39 minutes and 30 seconds on the record, if you would please. The thing that was omitted from my comments that night was my questioning about asking for clarification about the corrective action plan about food service, and then made another comment about the approval of the tax rates that were made in December rather than in August. If that could be added to the notes of that night, but also noting that because that was something that should have occurred in August, perhaps being ahead of the game, writing a corrective action plan already, so that when the audit happens and they note that that wasn't done in August, July, or August before the tax bills were written, then you're ahead of the game. Or don't do it and see if the auditors catch it. And if they don't catch it, then you say, well, they're not doing their job very well. So just that. And I would ask that it's great that the minutes are on the website. The team is getting those up for people to review, but perhaps they should be watermarked as a draft so that we know that they're not a final copy for those type of things. And then just looking ahead for what you're going to approve tonight and the action for the robotics team. Your proposal said that it's for 2018, but all the supporting documentation has dates on there for February of 2015 and March of 2017. So all those dates are incorrect. Your motion on your agenda have the correct dates, but your supporting documentation does not. So those perhaps should be corrected for the files that are put in there. And then the superintendent part, I may not be here because I have another meeting to go to. So just in quick that because of the difficulties that we had last year in the process in determining who our next superintendent would be, the board went ahead and appointed Kimberly as our interim superintendent. And by evidence so far, she's doing an excellent job. And I think that, she's articulate, she's intelligent, she's engaged, she is compassionate. And I think she deserves to be able to speak so people can hear her firsthand of what her experience and her credentials are, rather than what's happening in our community now and people relying on secondhand information. So I'm not sure what the board's going to do about moving forward with a search or unilaterally appointing Kimberly, which would be setting a precedent for this district, because that's not happened before without other input from other stakeholders, either teachers, community members, etc. So I just think respectfully she deserves that opportunity to avoid any misconceptions about her qualifications. I think in my meetings with her and other comments I hear from community members, people are very pleased with the job that she is doing, and I echo that. My comments tonight are not a critique of that at all. It's just to respect her, respect the position of superintendent, and in the decision that you all have to make. And I just add that now because I'm probably not going to be here when we get to that later. Thank you.
Thank you. Please accept our apologies for the incorrect minutes and report.
Oh, but it served me well in other arguments.
Well,
so that's great. Thanks.
it's an ill wind that blows no good. We'll make sure that they are corrected, and also the updated in terms of your other comments regarding food service and the thanks. So
Thank you.
we apologize. Just a point of clarification, if you don't mind. Speaking about Kimberly presenting, I'm not sure what you are suggesting or asking for, so if you could clarify.
When, in the past, when it was Mrs. Hurley and she was an internal candidate, we did have a public forum in the auditorium in the elementary school where she presented and then was open to questions from the audience. But presented, she'd been here for years as principal, but felt that it was important because there were no other candidates but forth, that she had that opportunity to speak to her qualifications and then answer questions from the community.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Sir.
DJ Williamson. I live on 6229 Searsburg Road, Trumansburg. I just want to make a quick comment about a recent event. I'm sure everybody's heard about the events of Friday night's basketball game. Sad that they may seem. I've been involved with basketball around here for a long time, 35 plus years. I just wanted to express to the board that what we saw or what's been spoken about is not representation of the majority of the players or boys on that team. They are good boys. They enjoy basketball. They have a lot of responsibility amongst themselves as students. Most of them doing very well in school. It was a poor situation. They got out of hand very fast. And I just hope that the board and the rest of the community doesn't hold what happened Friday night against the rest of the players on that team or any part of their families, and whether it's coming up through the program or whatever. I just wanted to say that a lot of those boys are good boys. And
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Thank you. At this time, I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for matters relating to the dismissal or removal of a particular person or persons.
Second.
Those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? We'll take a short break for executive session and return.